there's one person that can either get help because they've been sexually abused or get help because they need therapy, and they get that from this film, I feel it will have done its job.
I was on my way to a family reunion in Jasper, and I switched to Tim somewhere around Hinton, I think. And obviously Tim didn't want to go to the family reunion. He, at 100 kilometers an hour, drove the car into oncoming traffic before he let me come back. He says he couldn't handle the car.
Women with DID need a voice. And people don't understand dissociation at all. Professionals don't understand it, let alone lay people. So I thought from the teaching footage that I already had of therapy sessions, there could possibly be a film that was made for the public so that the public could learn about this phenomenon as well as professionals learn about it.
It was decades before I found out what happened during my memory gaps.
When there's too much pain, too much fear, too much confusion, too much horror, the brain shuts things down so that the person doesn't experience it anymore and is removed from it.
Hillary, were you excited when you were first presented with the idea of making the film?
Yes, I was a little bit apprehensive because the actual film I thought had to be handled in a special way because I didn't want it to be just morbid, sensationalized and things like that. And so I was a little concerned about that, but Helen handled it in a way that I would have wanted it to be handled. Well, I didn't think that I would have any idea of who to cast, and I found out very early on that I knew the energy of the alters, and when one came in with the correct energy, I could spot it immediately, and we always agreed, Cheryl and I always agreed on which one it was.
As soon as I heard a name, the red flag was up for me.
She was looking at her therapy tapes and going, that's not me. Who is that person in the tapes? That's not what I look like. That's not what Tim looks like. That's not what Mary looks like. And that's a big part of why we decided to cast the alters, was because they needed to look the way they looked in Hillary's mind's eye, not like the person in the chair whom they inhabit.
Neil, and how old are you?
5.
It took about 5 years from beginning to end, but that by beginning to end, I don't mean the beginning of the therapy tape. That took 10 years, basically, that the therapy tapes were being filmed. But once we started filming for this documentary, we did some development filming. We got a little bit of funding from CTV for development. We did that, and then they went, not really a CTV kind of film. And we went through another few months of waiting, trying to get funding, and doing a little bit of shooting. And that was about 1.5 years that we were really in production, shooting the scenes that you see in Alberta, the modern day scenes.
Originally, broadcasters who were approached were not interested because the topic was considered too controversial. And the False Memory Foundation was very active still, and really, I think, dominated the media and made people very afraid of touching the subject. And so it wasn't until later that broadcasters were open to taking a look at the topic.
All my alters were in therapy, and I went to therapy without often being there for more than 5 minutes, for years.
Getting in the festival was our first goal, and seeing, having people see the film and having Hillary see that people don't think she's crazy, they think she's wonderful. That was a real primary goal for us as filmmakers. And now we'll enter it in some other festivals, and it'll also be broadcast on CBC in a shorter version on the CBC's Passionate Eye sometime in the next few months.
There was a period of chaos. Oh boy, this is so mixed up.
I know I'm gonna die pretty soon.
Well, my business partner in Bountiful Films is from Edmonton originally, where these two lovelies hail from, and the man that shot the therapy tapes knew her. He's an Alberta filmmaker who knew my business partner from old days in Edmonton. So they started talking over coffee one day about the fact that these tapes existed and that there was the possibility of a documentary, that Hillary and Cheryl would probably be open to it, that they were interested in doing something educational. So then we just started talking, and we met with much, I wouldn't say trepidation on Cheryl and Hillary's part, but maybe close to that. A lot of care around making sure that what was done was something that did good, not harm to Hillary.
Well, I'm thrilled with the response that the film has got. I never expected it and am a bit blown away by it. And I hope it does some good for some people.
It's a good life now. You're safe now. And you run through all the years and all the times and all the experiences. And when you get to Hillary, she'll give you a big hug. What does that sound like to you?
Ridiculous. Okay, let's do it.
I told you so. It wasn't imagination, it was real. And this proves it.